so I won't have to talk about the English version at all, which is a good thing, honestly. The only differences that really occur between the two versions is soft resets and mixes. Anyways, we're off. So we're going to start out in World 1, which is Vegetable Valley. We're going to be seeing two different strategies here. Marche is going to go powerless, and then Wakaza is going to try and mix for wheel, which he got. Excellent job. So wheel optimally saves about 10 seconds over the powerless movement. Where it's really going to pick up is here in 1-1 and in 1-2. 1-2 is where most of the time is saved up, because there's a lot of horizontal movement and there's a lot of enemies to get around in 1-2. That is a lot easier to do with wheel because you can just run over them. But they're pretty close together right now, but Wakaza is definitely going to be catching up. So entering 1-2, Wakaza taking a little bit of a bonk there, giving Marche just a tad bit of an edge. Although I think Wakaza did actually end up getting ahead, just because things aren't synced up. Doesn't go for drive-by. Very small strategy, doesn't really save that much time. Killing that Poppy Row in one shot, easy money. It's always fun seeing him surprised that he died so fast. But yeah, this is how wheel saves a lot of time. You can just go really fast and run over all the enemies. Meanwhile, you kind of have to jump over them and avoid them. Marche talking about goal games, goal gaming. Although I didn't see him miss one. Maybe he was just happy that he got a 7 or something. So 1-3 is where these two routes end up converging towards the end. So Marche is going to grab Burning in this room, and Wakaza is going to keep his wheel. The cool thing with Marche is that he won't have to pick up his Burning in this last room. Meanwhile, Wakaza will have to do that. But the time save is good. Oh, he missed it in 1-1. I didn't see that. Huh. Alright, so Wakaza is ahead now. Oh, he missed it in 1-3. We got a Cloud 6. Cloud 6 is our unfortunate. So I'll explain goal games now. Goal games are 3-frame windows to basically grab anything that you want. A 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. A 1 is actually 2 frames, because I don't think it's actually possible to get a high 1. I've only seen a cloud grab and a small hop. But essentially, these goal games, you have a 3-frame window to not grab a cloud for the 6 or for the 7. If you hit on the first frame, it's the fastest. Second is the second fastest. Third is the third fastest. If you get it on the 4th frame, you're going to get a climbing 6. And then if you hit it on the 5th frame, you're going to get a low 6, which actually does save more time than the second or than the third frame. Third frame, the highest 7. So now they're both entering Wispy. I didn't even get a chance to talk about 1-4 because I was so busy talking about that thing. So you're just going to ram into Wispy 12 times. You can't just mash, though. You have to time your burnings, because Wispy does have quite a load of iframes that you have to keep in mind of. Missing a hit wastes about, I would say, about 1/3 of a second to half a second per hit that you miss. So entering 2-1. 2-1 is, in my opinion, kind of a boring level. You just burn a lot. Some pretty precise jumping. The only interesting part really comes towards the end. Marche taking a little bit of a hit there. The last room has a little bit of RNG with that first twister. The twister can either not spin or spin, and if he spins, you gotta wait for him. And then you have to kind of run towards him, and right before you're about to hit him, you burn. Otherwise, you are going to end up getting hit, and you're going to lose your ability. And you're going to want to use an ability for 2-2, because in 2-2, we're going to get ready for a double star setup, which Wakaza is approaching right now. So for this double star setup, you're going to want to turn around and immediately eject your ability. Wakaza nailing it with a 2 jump. Excellent job. He's going to grab his wheel. Marche getting ready to set it up too. Grabs the Sparky instead. I've never seen that before, but hey, that works. That's pretty cool. We got to see something very unique. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So Wakaza finishing up, getting ready to enter 2-3. I don't know if he goes for the crazy strat in 2-3. The crazy strat for 2-3 is to keep wheel through the duration of the stage, through the arena. I don't know if he does that. We'll see if he does. But that is something that MK, Cocoon, and myself, that is what we do for our runs. Rox does it too. All right. I had a little bit of delay there. Okay, now I'm actually back to full. So Wakaza not using wheel in the arena, so opting for the powerless strat, the same as Marche. What is going on? I'm getting a lot of delay here. I'm wondering if that's on me here. Yeah, Marche, I feel like definitely would go for the wheel movement because he's actually very good at it. Oh, Marche actually went for it. I actually thought he did not go for it. But we get to see the two strats for 2-4. The wheel strat is a lot more difficult than the powerless one because you have to do a lot of two-frame inputs, whereas with Spark, you can actually just kill TikTok very easily, and you can see that Marche actually missed his hit on TikTok there, and TikTok can be very, very mean. But he got through it just fine. Marche having a little bit of trouble on the Cloud room right there. Cloud hitboxes are very irritating in this game, unless you really do know how they work. Really, the only way you would know that is if you have a level editor. Otherwise, they're very hard to understand, and they make a lot more sense after you see them. It's a lot less annoying to deal with. Marche is grabbing that Spark. I don't really agree with that decision, only because the only reason you even need an ability entering 2-5 is so that you can eject it at the very start of the level for a bit of a boost. So I feel like he wasted just a little bit of time there, and unfortunately he didn't even time it optimally, which is unfortunate. So that just made grabbing Spark unnecessary. Wakaza grabbing High Jump. High Jump is my personal favorite ability in this game. Has a really high DPS, multiple hitboxes, you can cancel it. Really awesome. Wakaza approaching Paint Roller. Paint Roller is my favorite boss in the game to fight because there's something that he gets the RNG for it. I think Wakaza was going for a really cool setup. That normally I would go for, which is where you basically want to follow. You don't want to follow him. You want to stay kind of in front of Paint Roller. Very good from Wakaza. We'll see if Marche goes for it here. Marche getting in the middle there. Had the Paint Roller jumped, it would have been a little bit better on him. So Wakaza now is in 3-1. This is where the 100% and any percent kind of split up. Because the first two worlds in any percent and 100% are identical, but this is where the switches start popping up. I believe there are 16 switches in the game. There are 2 in World 3, 3 in World 4. I think there's 4 in World 5, and there's 6 in World 6, and there's 2 in World 7. I'm not quite sure if all those numbers are correct. Oh, Marche takes a death against TikTok. That's really bad because he really wants High Jump for Butter Building. So this will give Wakaza a fantastic lead. So Wakaza is in 3-2. 3-2 is the first, I would argue, the first big run killer in any and 100%. Because you're running into a mini boss at the end of this level. And this mini boss is extremely irritating. Wakaza is taking the safe route and using Sword. I wouldn't say that keeping Sword is and using Sword against Bugsy is any more difficult or easier than what World Record does, or at least World Record runners usually do, which is keep high jump. Wakaza driving down to butter building with the down throw. But other than that, he does just fine. Going for a wheel mix that I don't remember who developed this. Doesn't save any time unless you do Sword Bugsy. Marche getting through 3-1 and getting into 3-2. Unfortunately, he can't do the high jump strat. So he's going to have to stick with Sword, unless he somehow manages to mix it somewhere. Wakaza doing swag cycle. Marche taking a little bit of a beating here, as Wakaza finishes the 3-3 maze. I don't know why Marche decided to grab that sword when there's a sword right there. Maybe he just forgot it was there. I'm not sure. Wakaza is coming up on the 3-4 arena. The 3-4 arena is arguably one of the more difficult arenas. Oh man, both runners ended up getting grabbed, but only Wakaza got a down throw. So, very difficult arena for some people. Mainly because of that purple robed guy with the spear. He can jump in, I think, I want to say 3 directions. More commonly, he will jump to the left, and that's what you want him to do. But if he jumps straight up, you kind of have to wait for him, and that does waste a little bit of time. But if you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know like where the enemies are spawning, it can get pretty irritating. Marche grabbing his high jump as Wakaza enters 3-5. 3-5 is I want to say the shortest level in the game. I'm not sure what comes really close to it in terms of the shortest level. Because with high jump, you make those first few rooms super quick, and the invincibility candy makes bonkers just a cakewalk, and then you just have a star block room. Would bosses count? I'd say bosses are kind of in a league of their own, because in that case, I think Sun and Moon would be the fastest. Sun and Moon, and then Paint Roller, and then Meta Knight. Imagine not going for KO Boomer. I don't know if Wakaza knows about that strat, honestly. Marche taking a bit of a beating there from that, that purple robe dude. Probably didn't give him good RNG. He's gonna want to grab this tomato here. Wakaza coming up on the 3-6 switch. Getting good positioning from the sortie. That sortie can be a little bit annoying. I actually don't know if his positioning is legitimately RNG based, or if it's like a combination of Kirby's positioning or something. Because I swear I've done the same movement multiple times, and he is in different he is in quite mostly the same place, but sometimes he actually stands in front of Kirby, and I have to wait for him. So Wakaza coming up on the boss of Butter Building, Sun and Moon, guesses Moon, and guesses wrong. Wakaza is a proud member of the Moon crew, as are most NIDL runners. Ooh, perfect landing. Wonderfully done. Marche gets KO Boomer. No Guess Gang wings again, as it should be. Marche losing his ability there. Fortunately, he was able to get it back. Oh! I don't think he meant to get into that one tile gap there. Wakaza goes for UFO in 4-1. It's actually faster to it's actually faster to keep your high jump and go below the Waddle Doos there. But this is the beginner strat. I don't know how much time it actually loses over high jump. Doesn't really matter, because he is going to try and mix wheel here. Unfortunately misses the setup because of the twister. Let's see if he can get it off these guys. Nice! Very nice. The Waddle Doo gave him good RNG as well. If the Waddle Doo hadn't beamed there, he would have had to mix it off of the Waddle Doo, and that would be the same as the 1-1 wheel, which, in my opinion, is easier to time in 1-1 than it is in 4-1. Marche doesn't guess, but it ends up being Moon. So I guess no guess game really does win this time around. So Wakaza in 4-2. 4-2 is... I feel like it's kind of a nothing burger. There's really not much going on except for the ending here, which would be a double Poppy fight with Spark. The double Poppy fight with Spark is really cool because there are multiple setups that are all consistent. I don't think there's a single pattern you shouldn't be able to deal with effectively. Alright, Wakaza in 4-3. As Marche gets ready to mix wheel. Misses the setup, unfortunately. I don't think he sucked early enough there. Alright. So pretty soon we're going to be seeing a 4-4 from Wakaza. I don't know if Wakaza goes for the 4-4 wheel mix. Knowing him, I don't believe he does. He goes for just opting for powerless. Which honestly is the better thing to do because you either gain 3 seconds or you lose 5 seconds. That is what happens with the wheel mix, and more often than not, you're probably going to be losing that time. But even if you don't mix wheel, it's not a big deal because you are going to grab wheel in this room right before Fan. Oh! Wakaza mistiming a B button there, so he's going to have to follow these bomb blocks. A bonk there can be really punishing. Having to constantly reload the feed is getting kind of annoying. Let me see if I can find another way to look at it. Alright, so Wakaza's in 4-5. 4-5 is an awesome level, in my opinion. I actually quite love this level because the arena powerless is one of my favorite developments in all of Nightmare and Dreamland. We came up with it last year, around this time last year, May of 2019. Shoutouts to Sniper for this strat. It's really, really cool. Misses the double star there. Arguably, that is what you're supposed to do instead of suck that Mace Knight in because it spawns the door faster. I actually don't know if that's true, but I think Marche tested it out and he said it is faster to do it that way. I don't remember. I'll have to ask him later. Marche flawlessly executing this room right before the Fan room. Very, very nicely done. Hopefully it doesn't get grabbed by Fan. Wakaza threading the needle. What did he do? Did he forget to grab high jump? Did he forget to grab sword or something? Or did he grab sword, or did he kill it? I didn't see what happened there. Alright, grabbing that switch in the dark room. This switch, I feel like the intended strat is to grab one of those cool spooks, or Halo dudes as we like to call them, and then backtrack. I have no idea how you're supposed to know to do that. even after a couple playthroughs, honestly. Marche struggling with the 4-5 arena, but gets through it just fine. Wakaza is on Kracko. Big Crack, the Great Equalizer. There are two ways of dealing with Kracko. You can either do 5 double hits or 6 single hits. And the single hits are faster. But I would say they're actually easier. Bad lightning RNG and getting a Rotato. 2 Rotatos, in fact. That was an awesome backup landing. Very nicely executed. There's a very nice exit from Wakaza. Very, very good showing overall. On the bases, there's nothing to the right of the cool spook. That's true, but there also are multiples of them. Marche does the swag high jump grab. This is actually faster than grabbing it in the Kracko stage. He took a little bit of time to type easy in chat, I think. He didn't move instantly there. So you're supposed to figure out that you should go to the left instead? Perhaps. Wakaza grabbing ball. This is our first instance of ball in Nightmare in Dreamland. So ball is another one of my favorite powers to use. It is incredibly difficult to control, especially if it's your first couple times playing the game with little experience. But it has the highest DSP of any ability. Marche destroying Kracko with the crack singles. Very, very easy. Nicely done. In order to access a not laggy commentary feed, which I'm sure is on my end, I'm gonna have to open something else up here. Marche is kind of flexing here. Definitely flexing his game knowledge and strategy knowledge for sure. A little bit of a final boss. Thank you for raiding, Cocoon. Marche is doing a pretty good job flexing. Oh, Wakaza doing the Shast triple. Marche gets hit. Oh, gets hit by the Bonkers corpse. Wakaza doing the old strat of the 5-4 arena. Still pretty effective, but the new strat is a lot better. Wakaza not doing ball swag. A lot of people say that ball swag is free. I agree. I think the most recent victim of getting killed by ball swag is either me or Rox. I know why I did it is because I jumped too late. It is fairly easy to do that, but it's also, you know, an easy strat. Don't fail it too much, or you will get flamed by Rox if you do that. Marche doing the Shast turns. Oh, just barely missing it. Opting to grab the health, I agree with that decision. Very, very good. Wakaza in this 5-5 cannon room, which will lead to the switch. I do not like the 5-5 switch very much. I used to hate it a lot as a kid, but that's because I sucked at video games when I was little. And now look at me. Child me would be very proud to see that I have a 3rd place time in a game that I used to play. So normally in any percent we would be keeping ball, but now we have high jump. High jump is pretty much just as effective as ball at killing Firelion. It takes 3 hits instead of 2 if you get the strong hitbox. It is very, very easy to kill him. Bam! Look at that, destroyed. Marche, meanwhile, annihilating the 5-4 arena with the new strat. Well done. Also doing ball swag. I don't think he does the triple though. Nope, he does the double. Wakaza somehow not getting hit by that apple right there. Oh my god, very nice. Awesome ball swag by Marche there, right there. Sliding a little bit too far with his ball, so he's gonna have to bounce. Narrowly missing that fish. Man, that was a little spooky. Meanwhile, Wakaza grabs all 3 wheels and mixes hammer, which is what you're gonna need for the 5-6 switch. 5-6 switch is, I think it is one of the worst switch, consensus, like we have a consensus as a community that this is one of the worst switches in the game. Mostly because of the room Wakaza is going to enter right now, which is this star block room. It is very, very easy to get your input eaten or just miss the blocks entirely. Wakaza nails it. Excellent. So the runners are about a full stage apart. I'd say about a minute and a half of difference here. Maybe a little less. And Wakaza about to go into Heavy Mole. Heavy Mole is my least favorite boss in the game. Mostly due to personal bias. Getting very good luck, which is something I wish I got ever against Heavy Mole. A low move on his lower arm. That's the kind of luck you're looking for, because you don't have to try and avoid it while still trying to get a hit. It's very easy to get hit if he does that. Marche not opting for the 5-5 wheel strat, which is honestly a good idea. That strat kind of sucks. It doesn't really save any time. At all. So Wakaza in World 6, sometimes you will... Oh, he's mixing hammer, okay. I'm not sure why he just kept... I don't know if he got hit, but he didn't keep his hammer, and he had to mix off the Sparkies there. But he's gonna grab Burning and do this last room with Burning. This last room is really cool. He kind of did a little bit of a spooky movement there. Got lucky with the frog. He would have lost his Burning had that not happened. Meanwhile, Marche entering the stupid block room. Ooh, very nice movement from Marche, getting rid of all those blocks. Wakaza opting to jump to make sure that frog gets annihilated. You can do a mix for stone in the next room, which just saves a trip through the door. I don't know how much time in terms of minutes and seconds it saves. Not too much. I'd probably say about 5 or 6 seconds. So it's kind of a high risk, medium reward strat to go for. So I respect Wakaza's decision not to go for it. So grabbing high jump there would actually be fast, just a little bit faster, but it's not a big deal because you only need it for that one small segment, and then you're going to grab Burning and then head into 6-3. Marche finishing up with a pretty decent Heavy Mole. Wakaza kind of scuffing his movement here a little bit. Marche having a very good first room in 6-1. I'll keep his hammer. opting to keep it. I don't think wheel is actually faster in 100%. It's faster in any percent, but not in 100%. So Wakaza coming up on the UFO mix for 6-3, and he gets it first try. Wonderful job. So this level is infamous for being a run killer in 100% because that ability is like 16th or 17th on the mixed roulette. Very, very easy to miss. But Wakaza is incredibly consistent at it. I don't think I've ever seen him miss it. I don't know if Marche is going to go... No, Marche is not going to go for the mix either. Whoa! Getting an up input there, nearly killing that stone. That would have been incredibly damaging. That would have been incredibly damaging if he had done that. Fortunately, he was able to catch himself just before doing that. Wakaza is now finishing up 6-3. And going into 6-4. Because unfortunately, this is not KA with a UFO glitch. You cannot keep your UFO. Now, that would be interesting if you could. Some rooms would actually be impossible in 100% to escape out of, I believe. 6-2 off the top of my head. So he goes into this water room here, avoiding those Gordos. Very, very nicely done. Good movement. This is... Wakaza is playing extremely well right now. This is very, very nice to see. Marche getting hit right there, losing his burning. Not that big a deal, but if Marche does use audio cues for his mix, this could be a little troublesome. We'll see if he even goes for it, but he probably will. Wakaza in the vertical and the horizontal nut check at the same time. Marche opting to grab Spark. I respect that decision. It's a lot more consistent, but UFO saves around 15 seconds over this strat. If you get it first try. You break even if you get second try UFO. There is a small development that I came up with in 6.5 where you can mix high jump in the first room. I'm actually not totally sure that it saves time. I do want to test that out for myself and see if it works. It does make that second room a lot faster and a lot easier. So Wakaza is going to keep fire through that first room. He's going to damage boost with the ability in his mouth, just to make sure that he doesn't lose it. A lot of runners nowadays go for something called the 6-5 burning mix, which is where you manip the direction that the hothead is facing, and you cause him and the waddle dude to come together, and then you'll form, I believe it's 4th or 5th tick in the mix. I think it's actually 4th. It's the same timing as 4-1 wheel to get burning. Marche taking a beating in this last room. Good double stuck from Wakaza. You cannot get those metal blocks without either burning, UFO, or that double star. Opting to slide through the platform. Is that... Huh, interesting. I've never seen that, so that's pretty cool. I don't think it saves any time, but it does certainly look interesting. So Wakaza's going to try and grab a UFO from this room and keep it for as long as possible, because he needs it for this next fight. He needs some kind of ability for the fight coming up. Definitely slower. I figured. Oh! So he gets good RNG, but for some reason opts to not do a double star kill, potentially because he wants to use UFO in this room, which does actually save time. If you do get a very specific pattern from the Frosties, you can actually mix UFO or wheel off of them, which does save a lot of time. Although it is so uncommon, and honestly the mix is hard enough on its own, that most runners really wouldn't go for it. Trying to grab the switch as fast as possible instead of grab the door as fast as possible. Understandable. We'll come to see that too much of that arena, but it looked like he did it pretty well. There's a new I suppose we can call it an RNG manip. There's a new strat for the 6-6 arena, which in my opinion makes it a lot easier. Man, Meta Knight is not liking Wakaza today. That was not 5 blocks-ish. We'll see if Marche decides to go for the burning mix here. Nope, he decides to keep fire. Although I don't really agree with his decision to not keep it in his mouth and just swallow it immediately because of that Waddle Doo. That Waddle Doo can definitely ruin your day by doing that. So now Wakaza is in 7-1. In 100%, this is my least favorite level in the game. Bar none, this is my least favorite level in 100%. Only because of the switch you have to grab. It's not even that annoying of a switch to grab. I just hate doing it. You just have to mash your B button until you're getting all the way through all those blocks. In KA, I don't even know how people do it in KA. It looks almost impossible without some kind of clip, which fortunately they do use in KA. There is a clip in KA that they use. So Marche grabs a double star, getting those metal blocks as Wakaza enters 7-2. 7-2 is the infamous boss tower. There is a lot of RNG involved with this, but fortunately, MK Cocoon has a money-back guarantee where you can't lose more than 7 to 8 seconds with the setup that he makes. Wakaza having a wonderful textbook bonkers, even with the bad RNG that he got. Very good fan as well. He got the roll pattern, which is exactly what he wanted. Marche taking a beating in this room. Fortunately, he's able to keep his UFO. Wakaza having a great 7-2. He's getting everything that he wants out of this. Gets hit by Fire Lion, but that's okay. Still really, really, really well played. The frog, of course, choosing to jump right when Marche doesn't want it. Marche at 1 health, he's definitely going to want a soft reset after this arena if he doesn't get hit. Marche going for the old strat, misses it just barely. Ooh, it's a little scary. Decides to wait for the Axe Knight. I appreciate that decision, but it does not save him from the one up top. Decides to completely swipe him. This time missing the Mace Knight. The Mace Knights can actually block your attacks with their Morning Stars. A little bit of the scuffed arena from Marche, but he still got through it okay. He has 4 health for Meta Knight, so he should be safe. But anything can happen with Meta Knight. The entire fight is dictated by RNG. I don't think there is a very viable way to manip it. Tries to go for the triple hit at the beginning, unfortunately not hitting it. Having a very rough time going for a lot of aerial strikes. These aerial strikes, it's not a good idea to shoot them out at random like this, because stuff like that can happen. I go for aerial hits against Meta Knight, but more often than not, it is because he is jumping in the air and I am trying to follow him around, since I cannot hit him on the ground very easily. Your hitbox with sword is very small when you use it in the air. Marche did it a lot more cleanly that time. That was very, very nice. Wakaza in 7-4, not getting the disgusting teleporting Sparky pattern. He does have 2 health, which is a little bit scary. Air hits more likely to bypass block. Didn't know that, but that's good to know. Whoa! Marche barely avoiding that fire. I don't know how he did that. That's crazy. Getting a really cool, I think that's actually a one-tile jump that he went for. Going for a suck, but hits the star block instead. Nightmare in Dreamland to prioritize star blocks over enemies and regarding sucking in this game. Not sure why it does that. It is both a blessing and a curse at the same time. Wakaza having a bit of a slow wheelie fight here, but he does manage to grab the wheel and go off to the wind tunnel. Very nicely done. Very, very nice. Marche mixes for ball, not jumping quite high enough to avoid the cannon, and then he goes for ball swag. Fortunately, he was just barely able to avoid that Chili's frost. Now Wakaza is entering the last level before fighting DDD 7-6, a callback to KDL 1, where basically you're you're going through basically larger versions of different parts of these levels. Like this is the grassland, this is the castle for Lololo and La. This is Bubbly Cloud. Marche gets grabbed by Fan, mostly due to a mistimed jump there. Oh, and he wheels, he goes at the apex of his jump, but Fan catches him. Wakaza having a clean Kabu room. Marche gets forward thrown. Oh dear. If Marche loses ball, this race is over. And he decides to soft reset. Oh man. I wonder if he's just gonna grab sword and go with it. Yep. Wakaza grabs ball, goes for that last switch, and is ready to take on DDD. This is looking like a really, really nice pace, about mid 43 by the looks. Marche losing his sword. I don't know how he lost it. Probably got hit somewhere along the line there. So the setup that Wakaza just went for, excellent job. That was fantastic. BTT question mark, actually. I don't know, that was pretty amazing. So yeah, Wakaza is looking at a mid 43 by the looks, which is an amazing race time. Marche using throw against Bugsy. This Bugsy is really scary. He's really, really fast, and the mandibles actually have a square hitbox. So it is quite deceiving where the hitbox is. You can get grabbed when it looks like you're not going to get grabbed. Okay. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Wakaza having a very clean orb fight. I'm predicting for Wakaza about a 42-21 or so, something around that range, maybe a little less. Very good decision by Marche going for that double star. That double star saves a lot of time. You don't want to just grab the ladybugs by themselves, because they don't do anything, really. Stars by themselves have a very low DPS. Hopefully Marche knows that backdrop is quite strong. I'm sure he does. Wakaza going for an early hit there against Nightmare. Very, very good. Marche getting terrible RNG from the Fire Lion. Awesome! 43.25 by Wakaza, an official SRL time of... Oh, he hasn't put in his done yet. Well, 43.25 on his splits. I don't think there was any... I don't think there was an early split there at all. Well done, Wakaza. So we'll see if he wants to come in here for an interview as Marche starts to finish up. Alright, 7-3 for Marche. That vertical ice stream can be quite a pain, unless you do just the regular float strats. The float strats are safe and consistent, but they are a little bit slow. Getting caught by those 2-tile gaps there bonking, but he does make it out safe and sound. Getting hit by that ball there. Balls are RNG. As you can see by this clock room, this is a different pattern than what Wakaza got from them. The first two rooms are completely RNG. Fortunately, the last two rooms, you can deal with anything if your movement is precise and correct. Marche kind of waiting there a little bit with the suck. I'm very glad that neither runner went for 7-4 UFO. Rox likes to say that it saves time, even just because there's a sequence break. I don't think it actually saves time. I don't think anyone thinks it saves time. But Rox loves to be a 7-4 stan, and you know what? We can let him do that. Oh, Marche getting immediately hit by one of those crash bombers. He really wants something for wheelie, and even then, crash wheelie can be really bad. Mistiming a B input there. I think he's just kind of flustered. Oh man, things are not going well for him. Barely not able to reach that guy before he reaches the ground, so he gets hit. One of those long fire animations. Good job. Very, very nice, Marche. You have iframes right after using Crash, and Marche used that to make sure he didn't get hit and just let Wheelie have it. And then he got a wheel from Grand Wheelie right after. Very good. Having a very nice wind tunnel. A little bit of a scuffed last room, barely making it past that flamer. Nicely done. Now he enters 7-6. So 7-6, Wheel is incredibly fast, especially in comparison to both Powerless and Burning, as you can see. Pretty much on flat ground all the time. The only rooms that really can ruin people's days are this room and the next room. The Cabu room is pretty much just RNG. The first Cabu can be really annoying because he can jump at a bad time, and the second Cabu can decide not to move anywhere. And unless you just want to go, okay, I'm going to move when you decide not to, if you want to take that risk, sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. A lot of runners decide to wait it out, which is the better thing to do, but it does waste time, and it has killed world record pace runs for many a runner, particularly MK Cocoon and Mr. Shasta. Marche entering the rune, grabbing that last switch, getting ready to take on DDD. A wonderfully timed getting out of ball there, so you didn't have to waste time in front of the door. If you're in front of a door and press up as ball Kirby, if you're in your ball form, it takes about a half second for him to actually enter the door. So let's see if Marche's DDD is just as good as Wakaza's. He gets the pattern for it. That was beautiful. I have never seen a race where both runners had that good of a DDD. That was excellent. Very, very, very impressive. Now, Marche needs to get 60 hits on this Nightmare Orb. It takes 60 stars. That's a lot of stars. Marche taking a serious beating from this orb. Oh, is he gonna be alright? Doesn't get chargeless. Oh man, 1 health for Nightmare. He should be okay if he doesn't go for anything stupid. Like Rocks. Sorry, Rocks. I go for it too, so I'm stupid too, don't worry. The early hit. He is at 1 health, so he can't do that. Unless he decides to take an intentional death, which I don't really think is a good idea because it's not really worth it. So for Marche, probably gonna be a mid to high 51. Actually, no. It's gonna be lower than that. It's gonna be like a 51-20x or so. Maybe a little less than that. My estimate was pretty close with Wakaza, but I didn't actually pay attention to the timer. Oh no, this is gonna be way better than a 20x. Excuse me. Huh. I wasn't paying attention to the timer when the fade out for Orb happened. A 51.07. Very well done. Oh, Wakaza apparently didn't... Interesting. Wakaza couldn't done on SRL. But both runners finished. Wakaza with a 43.25 and Marche with a 51.07. Both pretty good times. Maybe let's see if Marche wants to get in here for an interview. I actually don't know if we have time for one. His live split didn't connect to the race. Oh, okay. Oh, 50-12. That's Marche's PB. All right. GG, Marche. That was, you guys did an awesome job this race. So... Got confused keeping wheel through 2-3. Muscle memory does a thing. Yeah, I don't know if we should go in for an interview. But if you guys want to see more action for Speed Gaming, I'm actually going to pull up the schedule here and see what we've got. So this is Speed Gaming 4. If you're looking for something else tonight to entertain you, there is currently an SMZ3 1v1 until about 1 p.m. Or 1 a.m. Eastern. Oh wait. No, it's going on for a little bit longer here. It could actually already be over, but there will be more stuff tomorrow. If you want to follow the runners, please do that. If you want to follow the commentator, you may follow me as well. I am also a runner of this game, as well as many a Kirby game. I quite love these. Games. They're very, very fun. Very, very wonderfully made games. Great for speedrunning. Anyone can do it if they try. And maybe eventually you'll find yourself here on this stage with Marche, Wakaza, and everyone in these communities. So thank you all for watching. The next race, I think the next race for Nightmare in Dreamland will be between Dark Soul and Blue Bomber 285. And that is going to be Sunday, May 10th at... Excuse me, what the heck? I need to approve the match is what I need to do. It'll be Wednesday, May 13th at 7 p.m. That will be what our next match is going to be. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you then.